Did you get any sense when you spoke to Mahomes and were around the Chiefs at all this summer that there was a hangover coming potentially? Because that's what this one looks like to me, man. I mean, a team that's been to the Super Bowl twice and has had, and then lost and it's, playing long seasons 2 years in a row and Tyreek Hill dropping balls and the injuries hitting and then the turnovers come. That reeks of Super Bowl hangover. What was your general sense of things that could have maybe even given a window into the 2-3 Chiefs start we're now seeing, Kevin?
I thought they were trying to avoid a hangover by being proactive. It was really interesting because when I spent time with Mahomes in August, it wasn't that much time, but he had said he watched the Super Bowl basically to learn what he did wrong, even though I think the entire world, including us, thinks he did almost nothing wrong in that game. He just got battered by a bad offensive line and an incredibly fast defense of Tampa Bay. But he was watching it to sort of learn, okay, he thought he was bailing from a clean pocket too often. He made some mistakes. He thought once he got hit, he started going through his reads less and less and not making the right play. Right now with the Chiefs, this is a defensive problem. Josh Allen last night on passes over 20 yards was 5 of 6 for 213 yards, no interceptions, perfect passer rating. This is a disaster right now for the Kansas City Chiefs and their defense. I don't know how you fix it. There's no, people were asking me last night on Twitter, is there a move they can make? Well, shut down corners or top safeties, or, somebody to replace Daniel Sorensen. Those guys are not exactly on the open market in October, so it's going to be tough for them. But this was bad. I mean, Chris Jones, we talk about it all the time. Daniel Jeremiah calls it Jenga pieces, where you remove a guy and you find out very quickly how important he is. Chris Jones is obviously – we knew he was great, but to see the lack of pass rush last night when Chris Jones was out was actually quite startling. And then beyond that, they just couldn't get anything going. This was bad, and I don't know how you fix it in the sense that I don't know how you get back to being one of the AFC's top teams when this conference is really, really good. The Bills are great. The Chargers look awesome. The Bills, by the way, I mean, they game planned. They changed their whole personnel for this. I was with Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott in August as well, and Beane told me that one of the reasons they took 2 pass rushers with their first 2 picks in the draft was because they watched the tape of Kansas City and they wanted to gear themselves towards that AFC Championship game and where they came up short and try to get over that hump. They put a target on the Chiefs, and the fact that they won this game in such a resounding fashion has to be a massive, massive emotional lift. I know everybody says, oh, you want to win every game, whatever. Like they really, the amount of time in Buffalo, I heard people talk about the Chiefs, told me that they built their season around this kind of thing.
Well, I mean, it's remarkable, Kevin, that the Bills have achieved a certain level of just needing to fine-tune their roster in the offseason with a specific target in mind, the only one that could prevent them from getting to where they want to go. It's interesting you mentioned the Chargers because defensively I'm concerned about them as well, and the Browns just put 42 on them. Yeah. The Derek Carr put a third quarter on them on the Monday Nighter that almost cost them the game.
Yep.
They do have a tremendous quarterback. Who do you think could be the team what about the Ravens who we see tonight? I mean, what team do you think would prevent the Bills? Because it sure is not coming from within the house in the AFC East, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm ready to rule out the AFC East outside of Buffalo. But, it's funny. It would be kind of a great irony if the Bills spent all of this time trying to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs and they don't even face them in the playoffs, right? So I think that's the tier right now. I'd go Bills number 1. I would say the Chargers right behind that right now. Maybe that's recency bias. They probably should have lost yesterday, but they won. And I think that, I saw that stat. I don't know if you saw it. The Browns are the first team in history to score 40 points, not turn the ball over, and lose. Before this, teams were 463-0 in those situations, okay? The Browns played a perfect game. They just made a couple mistakes. Baker ran a really bad 2 minutes. There was a very, very, very fishy defensive pass interference call at one point. But winning games you should lose is a hallmark of a good team and a special team. I love Brandon Staley. I love Justin Herbert. I love that roster. I think the defense has problems, but so does almost every defense in the NFL right now. So I put the Chargers right beyond that, and then I would put the Ravens on that tier too. I really want to see what they look like tonight. But I'm extremely willing to be talked into the Ravens as an AFC contender. But right now, it's Buffalo and everybody else.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.